So, hello everybody and welcome. Yes, welcome back here at BSN Network. Today we'll be back here at BSN Network. This is the BSN Network podcast here today. It is Thursday, December 17th. Hope everyone's having a good day so far and a good rest of their day yesterday. It is, in fact, Thursday, December 17th. Hope everyone's having a good day so far. We are now 8 days away from Christmas, which is always a good thing. Continue the countdown. 8 days away from Christmas. 5 days. Yes, only 5 days left until the start of the 2020-2021 NBA season. Going to be very fun. I'll have all the coverage here coming up. Fantasy basketball, games, game picks, Nets, Knicks, all that good stuff coming up today. So should be a couple entertaining podcasts coming up. I'm excited. Hopefully you are as well. Last night was another night without football. It was, to be honest, without football on a Wednesday is normal, right? Tuesday, it's normal. Without football on either of those days is normal. But, I kept on saying, obviously with some of the with all the COVID cases and stuff going around, there's been a couple of times this season where you've had a couple of games where they got, postponed and had to been put over to a Tuesday game or a Wednesday game. Or we've only seen, I think, one Wednesday game this season. We've seen a couple of Tuesdays. I think the Bills, was it the Ravens? Yeah, the Ravens, and maybe a couple other teams sprinkled in there. And then we've obviously all gone spoiled of the two Monday night games. So it's kind of funny, to be honest with you, that we all are so used to Tuesday football and Wednesday football. But to be honest, it's good that there's no football on, because that means that the NFL is running safely and there's no problems with the COVID cases. Usually a Tuesday game means that there was an outbreak and there's a scheduling conflict. So you can look at it two ways. You can look at it one way that it stinks, but you could also look at it another way, say, you know what? This is a good thing because this means that they don't have any problems in the season. At the moment, it's going pretty smoothly. So you can look at it either way. But tonight we do have football back. We got a pretty pivotal game for the Raiders, not so much for the Chargers. Chargers are done. I mean, they're 4-9. They're pretty much over at this point. They could honestly really play spoilers tonight, and I think there's a very good chance they win. And as for the Raiders, they're just trying to continue their hunt into the playoffs. These are the topics for today. We got the Raiders and the Chargers, fantasy football, like always, Thursday. Keys of the game, Raiders, Chargers, keys for offense, keys for defense on both sides for the teams. And in fantasy football, we'll give you all you need to know. Obviously, this week's the start of Week 15. Crazy, I know, already Week 15 in the NFL season. We'll get you all caught up in what you need to know. Then Nolan Arenado. I pointed it out yesterday a bit into my podcast about Nolan Arenado and some rumors surrounding him, talking to the Mets, the Rockies wanting to trade him to the Mets. And I think that's a very big possibility. The Mets have obviously said that they want to get out and get the biggest names, the biggest guys, the big money guys. They want to spend money. Nolan Arenado would be exactly doing that. So that's a very good opportunity for the Mets to capitalize on a very good player, in my opinion, probably one of the best defensive first basemen in the league, and maybe even he could be up there in the all-time ranks. The guy's a 4 or 5 time Gold Glove winner, excellent hitter, clutch player, very smart player, veteran, knows what to do in big moments of the game. Would be a very good signing for a young Mets team. And then college basketball, NBA preseason, and there's a couple small college games on tonight. Nothing too crazy. All I know is, though, tomorrow there are a couple of games on tomorrow, and then obviously this weekend you have all of the Big 12 championship games and all the conference championship games, ACC and all that good stuff. So today we got a couple of games today. We got, or maybe we don't have any games today. I thought we did. No, I guess not. So we have games on Friday though. So there's just a couple of college football games on Friday, not today. I read that wrong. So so that's what I got for the podcast today. So this is the BSN Network podcast, and let's get right into it. So yeah, it is, and I just said this just a little bit ago. It is crazy. It is already Week 15 in the 2020 NFL season. It is really crazy that it's already hit Week 15. It is really crazy that we are already in Week 15. And it's crazy that you would think that just 2 months ago I was sitting here talking about Week 1, Jets-Bills. And now we're sitting here in December, Week 15, talking about Raiders-Chargers on Thursday night. It really is pretty crazy. Tonight's game, in my opinion, is a pretty good game. Just to take a quick look at the game picks. I got going into this week at a 144-73 record. So I know I say this a ton, and I don't seem to be bringing it. I don't want to bring it up a ton, but I do seem to be bringing it up a lot. If I continue this 10-win, 12-win, 11-win streak, I could get by the final 3 weeks of this season, this week, next week, and in Week 17, if I can get somewhere around there, if I can get about 10 wins a week, it would probably put me around 30. That could probably get me to like 170 at most, which would be very good. I want to try to avoid my goal is to probably avoid 95 wrong picks because that's tough. And 95 wrong picks is still very possible. If I have a couple really bad weeks, it's very possible. 90 wrong picks is probably where I'm trying to avoid, I would say. Somewhere around there. Probably somewhere around 90 wrong picks. That's 17 more wrong picks I need to make, which in 3 weeks is almost 16 is 3. I would need to make about an average about 6 or 7 wrong picks a week in order to get 90, which is actually very possible because a 10-6 week's a good week. So I don't know, but anyway, we'll look at it. We'll get into it. We'll get into the game now. But yeah, it's obviously it obviously has been a pretty successful year. I've had every week I've been above 500 except that Week 11. Week 11, I'm keep on looking at. It's that's the week. If that record's a slightly different, I could be way much better. 6-8 was ugly. That's what stinks too. When you look at the overall, you look at all your weeks, and you're like, oh, 6-8. It would have been nice to have no weeks where I went under 500, but that obviously wasn't the case. So yeah. So those are my game picks there. But now we move on to the actual game here. So tonight we got a battle of two teams, two West teams. The Las Vegas Raiders against the Chargers. Chargers are going into Las Vegas. Chargers on the road for this one. Vegas is home. Not that home field advantage really matters in these times with no fans. And even if you do have fans, it's so minimal. It doesn't really make that much of a difference. But yeah, this is a pretty big game for the Raiders, not so big for the Chargers. Obviously, their season's kind of done at this point. It's a lot of these guys, some of these rookies that might be in, not per se Justin Herbert because he's going to get the starting job down the road, but not saying him because he's their future quarterback, but I'm talking about some of these younger, some of these rookies that might not have been high profile. This is their time to kind of show what they're made out of, play hard, and show the team why they should either get re-signed or they should be in the lineup. And some of these old veteran guys are trying to show other teams that they can still play or trying to show the Chargers that they can get re-signed. There's some guys on this team that probably won't get re-signed, and then there's some that are going to try to get signed. So obviously there's a little bit of both there. I think there's both sides of it. You have a rookie maybe wanting to earn a spot on the team. That's kind of it for the Chargers. Chargers, they would love that top 10 overall draft pick, but if you win your next 3 games and go 7-9, it's not awful. For a season, if you go 7-9 for a season, it could have very well been 12-4. 7-9, I guess, isn't bad after all. But yeah, this Chargers has a lot of talent. This Chargers team has a lot of talent. Has a lot of talent. You got Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler. Some of the backup running backs are even good. Your offensive line's pretty solid. Your defense is a little weak outside of Bosa, but all in all, you have a pretty good team. You just look at it. The rest of their schedule, this is kind of how it goes. It's the Raiders, Broncos, Chiefs. So, Raiders tonight, Broncos is a winnable game. Chiefs, it's going to be tough. But then you could always look at it as the Chiefs might bench their starters final week of the season, especially if they clinch that first round bye. So that's kind of the gist for the Chargers. A lot of just, spoiler games. A lot of just games that don't really mean much. They're 4-9. Let's see what they can do. Let's see what some of the rookies can do. That's kind of the story of the game. Like I said, I'm a Jets fan, so I have to go through this every year with my Jets. 90% of the time, very rarely are we in the conversation in December. where by December, a lot of these guys are playing for our jobs. We have some of our backups in. We're seeing what the young guys can do. That's obviously what the Chargers are probably going to try to do as well. Now, as for the Raiders, a team that has been recently slumping of late, a team that has, to say the very least, been slumping. They've lost 3 out of their last 4, and their only win in their last 4 games was a close game against the Jets where they did not play good at all. It was a win at the end of the day. It was a win. But what I said after that Jets game about the Raiders, if they play like that against some of these other high-talented teams, they ain't going to win. Guess what? They lost to the Colts, high-talented team, and then now they got the Dolphins coming up and the Broncos. So the Raiders have 2 very winnable games remaining on their schedule. You have tonight's game, and then you have Week 17's game. The Dolphins are going to be tough, but maybe you slip out a win there. You probably are 8-6, or not 8-6. Yeah, 9-6. I would per se they finish the season 8-8, 9-7, something like that. And I don't know if that's going to get them in, if that's going to barely squeak them in. What's going to be the deal there? The Raiders need help around them. They need a lot of other help. They can't just win. They need to win, but they also need help. The Raiders, technically, if they really want a very good shot, they need to win out. They need to win tonight, they need to win against the Dolphins, and they need to win Week 17 against the Broncos if they want a solid shot at making the playoffs. If they win tonight, win or lose next week, win on Week 17, then they probably might squeak in, but even that's risking it. So I would just take it as the Raiders. You got to take it game by game. You can't be looking ahead because next week, really, it's a very pivotal matchup for, honestly, both teams in a way. The Dolphins are coming off of a tough loss against the Chiefs, and, now they play this week, whatever happens this week, but next week's a big game for the Raiders. That's why you got to hone in on this game, focus on this game. You have a very beatable team coming up. The Chargers are a lot better than what their record shows, but this is definitely a beatable team for the Raiders. So, yeah, this is kind of the number stuff. Today, game comes on 8:20 p.m. Standard Time on Fox and NFL Network, whichever you want to watch it on or whichever you get. Raiders come into this game 3-point favorites. Chargers over-under is 53.5. Like I said, Chargers away against the Las Vegas Raiders today. Chargers obviously coming off of the win against the Falcons, the late game victory against the Atlanta Falcons, and they're going in today. And you look at what this Falcons team, or you look at what this Chargers team has done. Like I said, they've had a lot of blown losses, and I'll tell you what, it's going to be very big. It's going to be a good game tonight. It's going to be a good game. Okay, before I even say my winner, it's going to be a good game. Because I know the Chargers are 4-9. If you look at the 2 records, you would say, oh, the Raiders are above 500. They're 7-6. And if you look at the Chargers record, they're 4-9. You're like, oh, this is an easy win. But no, that was not an easy win, especially about the way the Raiders were playing. And last week against the Raiders, their defense was concerning. Against Phillip Rivers, people. Phillip Rivers is not that good. You go tonight against Herbert, you might have some chaos. So, yeah. So that's kind of just the stuff about just both teams. Now let's get into the keys to the game for both teams. Here we go. So like always, we start off with offense, then we get to the defense. So we'll start off with the Raiders today. Like I just said, start off with the Raiders, offense and defense. And then we'll go to the Chargers, offense and defense. And we'll go on from there. So here we go. Keys to the game, Las Vegas Raiders offensively. So last week, when I was doing the Rams-Patriots keys to the game, one of my keys to the game was stop Aaron Donald. The Patriots did not do a good job of that. Aaron Donald was near Cam Newton almost every play. If you could get the exact percentage up, it was probably over 60. He was probably within 3 feet of Cam Newton almost 90% of the time, and probably right next to Cam Newton, maybe like 60. They did not stop Cam Newton. Donald had a sack and a half, got a lot of pressures, was just causing chaos in the run game and to Cam Newton. So the same thing this week goes for the Las Vegas Raiders. If the Raiders want to win this game, they have to stop Joey Bosa defensive end for the Los Angeles Chargers, okay? And I know some of these keys of the game, I've been trying to think of different ones, obviously, because you have, you always have, get the ball to your playmaker, throw the ball deep. This time, it's stop Joey Bosa. You have to find a way to stop Joey Bosa and give Derek Carr time, okay? You have to find a way to give Derek Carr time and let him throw the ball deep. Okay, that's what they got to do. That's what they got to do. You have to find a way to stop Joey Bosa. Stopping Joey Bosa, if you can't stop him, then I don't know, then you're in for a rude awakening, because I said this last week with the Patriots to stop Aaron Donald. They didn't, and look what happened. The Patriots got absolutely blown out against the Rams. They looked so lost playing that game. That's how bad it was. So the key to the game for the Las Vegas Raiders, and like I said, you still want to get the ball deep. You still want to get the ball to, your playmakers and Henry Ruggs and Darren Waller and guys like that. But if you really can, you have to find a way to, you have to find a way even to get the run game going a little bit. At least get a little bit of the run game going, right? You gotta get some of the run game going here, because you really have to. So that's one of the big things, I think, is you gotta stop Joey Bosa, right? He's a playmaker. He'll make plays. He'll sack you. He'll hit you. That's the key to the game for the Vegas Raiders. Stop Joey Bosa. Now, next up, keys to the game for the defensive side of the ball. This time for the Raiders. This time it's a little different, but the Raiders have a lot of injuries tonight. Clelin Ferrell's out, Arnett's out, Abrams out. Those are probably the three best defenders on their team. Damon Arnett, Jonathan Abrams, and Clelin Ferrell. They're very good players. Ferrell being a former first rounder. Very good players. All of them are very, 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 very good. I think they're all very good. I saw him play against the Jets. Clelin Ferrell had 2 strip sacks against Darnold. He really, really, really messed around with that offensive line of the New York Jets. He really dominated that offensive line of the New York Jets. So to be honest, with them being out, it gives Justin Herbert more time in the pocket, which gives him more time to throw it deep to guys like Mike Williams and guys like Keenan Allen and guys like Hunter Henry. Gives time for him to throw the ball deep. So you know what the Raiders got to do? They have to stop the deep ball. Okay, because with these players out, some of the pass rushers like Clelin Ferrell and stuff like that, the guys that are big blitz guys, the guys that are big in blitz packages, blitz heavy, rush the quarterback a ton, get a lot of pressure on him. With them all being out of the lineup today, and your back and your corners being out, and some of your safeties being out of the lineup, guys like that, the Chargers are going to run up a game plan to throw the ball deep. That's just how it's going to be. It's going to happen. So the Raiders have to counter that. Play a lot of backed off zones. Let the underneath stuff go. Play 2 safeties deep. Sometimes Abrams the only one back. Play 2 safeties deep. Have one hook over to Williams. Have one go over to Keenan Allen. Hunter Henry, I don't think is going to dominate you in the deep game. He's more of a check down guy, a 10-yard, in route, a 10-yard out route, a slant, a mesh, something like that. So you got to stop the deep ball. Without the pressure on Herbert, it's going to give Herbert more time to step up in the pocket and make a throw. The Las Vegas Raiders, if they want to win this game, got to stop the deep ball, because Justin Herbert, with pressure on him, he throws the ball deep. Without, gives him all the time in the world. So I guess you could say 2 things. 1, find a way to get some pressure, and 2, you got to stop the deep ball. Because even if you have pressure in Clelin Ferrell and guys like that, it's still going to be tough to stop it. So, key to the game for the Las Vegas Raiders is stop the deep ball. That's the key to the game for the Las Vegas Raiders. So the 2 keys of the game for the Raiders are stop Joey Bosa, right? I said it last week with the Patriots. Stop Donald. They didn't. Look what happened. They got absolutely obliterated. Same thing this week with the Raiders. Stop Bosa. If they don't, then you're in for a rude awakening tonight against the Chargers in that defensive front. So stop Joey Bosa. And as for the defense, with some of those injuries they have, Herbert's going to have more time in the pocket to step up, make a throw, get his legs underneath it, throw it deep to Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, deep ball receivers, jump ball receivers, strong, tall, good players. They're going to throw the ball deep like that. Even though they're both questionable, they both look good to go tonight. If they do play, definitely throw the ball deep. So that is the key to the game for the Raiders. So I'm going to counter that with obviously key to the game for the Chargers. And obviously, with what I was saying about the Raiders trying to stop the deep ball, it's going to be the opposite, and we're going to have, with obviously with the Chargers stopping the deep ball, we're going to have a counter, and we're going to have the Chargers throwing the ball deep. You got to take advantage of these injuries, right? Take advantage of the injuries up front. Take advantage of the injuries in the secondary. Especially take advantage of the injuries in the secondary because that's where he's throwing the ball, right? Especially have to take advantage of the injuries in the secondary. Jonathan Abrams, Damian Arnett, guys like that can make differences on the football field. You got to find a way to stop them. Got to find a way to stop it, right? That's what you got to do, right? You know, you got to find a way to find holes because there's going to be a lot of holes. This defense isn't amazing to begin with. Add in the factor of your probably 3 best defenders are out. You're definitely, outside of Crosby on the side, Mason Crosby, outside of him on the side, on the defensive end, this team has to take advantage of these injuries. So I guess the key to the game could be take advantage of the injuries. But another key to the game is throw the ball deep, right? If the Raiders are smart today, if John Gruden was smart, if this defensive coordinator was smart, they would run backed off, maybe run some man, but you don't want to get burned by an Allen or a Williams because that could just change the way the game goes, okay? So you have to figure out a way to stop the deep ball. To throw the deep ball, and the Raiders are going to find a way to try to find a way to stop it. But the Chargers have to throw the ball deep, right? Like I said, Justin Herbert can do it good with pressure. He can do it even better without pressure. So offensive line, step up, stop them, throw the ball deep, and you'll win the game. That's the key to the game for the Chargers on offense. Now the key to the game for the Chargers on defense. So obviously it is to get Bosa involved, and obviously that's the counter. But another key to the game is, I've always said this, I don't think Derek Carr is all that good of a quarterback. I've always said this. I've said throughout his career he's been average to meh. He's had his moments. The one season he was playing really good, and I think he tore his ACL or something. He has his moments. He definitely is. He has his moments. He has moments where he looks insane. He has moments where, is this guy really in the NFL? Those kind of balance each other out to be average. I don't think Derek Carr is going to hurt you in any way in the secondary. I mean, he hurt the Jets, but it's also the Jets running an all-out blitz. I just don't know really. I'm never really, as a football fan, if I was going up against Derek Carr. Now, of course, he did go up against the Jets, but there was also an all-out blitz, and it's the Jets too. It's the Jets, and it's an undrafted rookie cornerback on one of the fastest receivers ever to come out of the combine. So, in Henry Ruggs. So, I'm never really concerned of Derek Carr's arm. I don't know if he's going to throw. I'm never concerned that he's going to chuck it up deep, throw it deep, all that stuff. I'm not really concerned about that. What I would be concerned, though, if I was a Chargers fan today, is the fact that Josh Jacobs is back. And I believe Josh Jacobs is one of the best young running backs, one of the best young talents in all the league. Everything he went through in high school and college to now be in the NFL and be playing at as high of a level as he is just insane. 2 weeks ago when they played the Jets, they had Booker, right? They had some Booker or Darnett. I don't know. One of the guys did not play good at all. Struggled last week, same thing. Struggled. Finally get Josh Jacobs back. Finally he's healthy again. Finally get your run game going. For the Chargers, you got to find a way to stop this run game because they're not going to hurt you throwing the ball. As long as you don't send all-out blitzes, they're not going to hurt you throwing the ball. They're going to hurt you in the run game. Josh Jacobs has had plenty of games this season where he has played very, very, very good. They're not going to damage you in the pass game. They're going to damage you in the run game. You got to find a way to stop Josh Jacobs. Got to find a way to stop Josh Jacobs if you are the Los Angeles Chargers on defense. And that does go with, same thing with Bosa too. With the Chargers, it kind of correlates because the Raiders got to stop Bosa, but at the same time, the Chargers got to get Bosa involved and stop that run game. So the key to the game for the Chargers is stop the run game because they're not going to damage you in the pass game. It's going to be Josh Jacobs in that run game, if anything. So those are the keys of the game. Throw the ball deep. Herbert's going to have time. Throw the ball deep. and your defense is going to be stop the run game. And we'll just go through the Raiders and the Chargers one more time. Raiders, just in case you forgot, stop Bosa, right? Keep on saying this. Said it last week with the Patriots. Didn't do it. They got obliterated. Got to do it again. You got to find a way, if you're the Raiders, to stop this. Stop Bosa, because he's very good. And same thing goes for the defense. They got to find a way to stop this deep ball. They got many injuries on defense. They've got a couple of problems on defense. Their secondary isn't the strongest. Got to find a way to stop this deep ball. You gotta also find a way to get pressure on Herbert. And as for the Chargers, it's throw the ball deep. Herbert's gonna have a lot of time in the pocket with some of these injuries on the defensive front. He's gonna have time in the pocket, throw the ball deep. And then as for their defense, they gotta stop the run game, right? Derek Carr's not gonna go for 350 yards and 4 touchdowns against you. If anything, it's gonna be Josh Jacobs going for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. So you gotta find a way to stop him. And this defense isn't awful. I mean, it's pretty good. It's nothing. It's not top 5, but it has its moments. But overall, all in all, I think this is all in all, I think it's all in all, I would probably say it's a pretty good defense. But yeah, obviously, it's really all people's opinions too. How the players' chemistry and stuff like that. So yeah, so let's just take a look here. The Raiders are 3-point favorites. Over under is 53.5 for this game. Chargers, injuries. Injuries for both teams today honestly hurt both teams, although it damages the Raiders more than the Chargers because the Raiders have guys that are out. The Chargers are all pretty much questionable. But these are the Chargers questionables. Austin Eckler, quadricep is questionable. Keenan Allen, hamstring, questionable. Mike Williams, back, questionable. Nwosu, back, questionable. Perryman, back, doubtful. Artery, shoulder, doubtful. You got to take advantage of that. If Perryman's out, he's another very good young linebacker. If he's out, take advantage of that, Raiders. Beluga, concussion, out, and Ibu, illness, out. So, and as for the Raiders, Cleveland Farrell, shoulder out. Damon Arnett, shoulder out. Jonathan Abrams, shoulder, concussion, out. Damon Arnett, concussion, out. And Morrow, concussion, out. So, that's all your injuries. So, some big names on the list. Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, Mike Williams, Perryman, Beluga. Some big names on that list. So, some key guys. I mean, I think Eckler, Keenan Allen, and Williams will be playing. But it really comes down to what Beluga's out and Perryman's doubtful. So, usually doubtful next thing means out. It usually doesn't mean get upgraded to questionable. But yeah, so now I move on to the league rankings here. Points per game. For the Raiders is 11th, Chargers 22nd, points per game allowed, Raiders 30th, Chargers 26th, total yards per game, Chargers 8th, Raiders 14th, pass yards per game, Chargers 4th, Raiders 14th, rush yards per game, Chargers 16th, Raiders 12th, and yards per game allowed, Chargers are 9th, and the Raiders are 25th. So, that's your league rankings. So like I said, no, it ain't new. It ain't two powerhouses going at it. It isn't the Chiefs and the Packers going at it. It's two teams, one team trying to play spoilers, the other team trying to squeak into the playoffs. A very important game for the Raiders today. So this is my game pick, first game pick of Week 15 of the NFL season. I do take the Raiders to win today. I've said a lot on the Chargers. I like this team a lot. I think Keenan Allen's very good. I think Keenan Allen's very good. I think Austin Eckler's very good. They've got a very bright future ahead of them. A lot of young guys, and then plus whatever they do in the draft, which I know they'll probably do good in the draft, maybe get an offensive lineman or even with Mike Williams and some guys like that, maybe getting a little older, maybe look for the receiver route, or even you got to look for some cornerback, I think. You got to think that you're going to look for a cornerback. They don't got many corners. You're going to have to find a way to maybe get a corner or something, but, obviously it's just, something about this Chargers team I just don't trust. They've had so many times this year where they've blown games late in games, and there's been a couple times this year where this Raiders team has made comebacks. I'm just not fully on to this Chargers team. I just don't trust them. I don't believe that I just don't think they're there yet. They got the talent. They got the guys. They have their franchise quarterback. I just don't believe they're there yet. And as for the Raiders, I don't think this Raiders team is all that good. I don't think it's that good. I don't think it's all that good for the Raiders either. I think, Raiders are 7-6 and all, but I still don't think they're that good. I don't know if they'll make the playoffs or not. The only way that I'm taking them here is just because I just can't trust the Chargers late game. I just cannot trust the Chargers late in games. They almost blow everything. So, yeah. So, anyway, so that's my game pick. My score is 31-24, Chargers winning. Or Raiders winning. So, I got the Raiders winning 31-24. I think the Chargers cover, and I take the over-under of 53.5, and that's the start of what is yet another week of football in the books. So, all right, yet another week of football ahead of us. We got some Saturday games on. We got 2 Saturday games on. Bills, Broncos, Panthers, Packers. Let's see. Got 49ers, Cowboys. That's actually a big game for the Cowboys. Not so much the Niners, but the Cowboys. Bears, Vikings is actually a pretty pivotal game. You wonder if any of them are gonna squeak in. Let's see. Patriots, Dolphins is big. Patriots win, they're 7-7. Dolphins lose, they're 8-6. All of a sudden, Patriots are 1 game out. That's a big game. As funny as it sounds, Seahawks and Washington's big. If the Seahawks win, if the Washington wins, they're 7-7, and Giants lose, it's pretty much over. But yeah, Texans, Colts. I guess if anything, Texans want to play spoilers a little bit. Cardinals, Eagles. Let's see what Jalen Hurts can do. Those are just some of the games. The best game I think is the Chiefs Saints. But yeah. So that's what I got for the Raiders vs. Chargers. Coming up next, we got fantasy football coming up next. Okay, so let's get the fantasy up here. Okay, so we got the fantasy up here. Let's see, what league? I'll just go to this league first. This league has a lot more questionables. I've been saying this a lot, and I've been talking to people obviously a lot. Like, in the beginning of the year, my team was good to go. I didn't have injuries. Didn't have problems. It was the week that George Kittle went down. And let me actually find George Kittle, because I get rid of him. George Kittle. It was the week George Kittle. Wait. The 49ers opened the IR practice window for Kittle foot on Wednesday. So obviously, it's possible prognosis changes. Back to my point with, what's it called? Back to my point, with all my questionables. So, speaking of George Kittle, right, I had George Kittle, and stuff like that. So, speaking of him, right when he went down on IR, I remember saying, like, oh, this is my first, like, major injury. Like, this is my first time really, like, major injury. Like, okay, it shouldn't be anything too severe, kind of that kind of thing. And then all of a sudden, the next week, I get, like, a couple outs. I get a couple players out. And I'm like, okay, all right, this isn't the end of the world. And all of a sudden, it just starts to spiral. And all of a sudden now, I have players questionable. 2 players that are out. Like, all of a sudden, I got a player getting surgery on his pinky finger right when playoffs hit. And it really does stink. And I don't want to complain about it because, obviously, I got to adjust, do it. If a player's out, you can't expect your team to be healthy all year. But I was through the season like 7 weeks in, and I was going pretty good. So anyway, So this is my lineup for this week. I get Aaron Rodgers, Chris Carson, Austin Eckler, Devontae Adams, Robert Woods, Robert Tonyan, Allen Robinson, Rams defense, and Darren Carlson. My bench is Ezekiel Elliott, Juju Smith-Schuster, DJ Moore, David Johnson, Todd Gurley, Rob Gronkowski, and Ronald Jones. So I'll go through my starting lineup first, and I'll get to the bench. Chris Carson is questionable. Carson Foot was a limited participant in Wednesday's practice. John Boyle of the Seattle official site reports. I'm not too concerned. He has a foot injury every week. I'm not overly concerned. Austin Eckler, this you got to be a little concerned about. Eckler quad Keenan Allen. Sorry, Keenan Allen is a little concerning because it says it's kind of a game time decision. This isn't though. Eckler quad is expected to play Thursday night against the Raiders. Tom Pelissero of the NFL Network reports, so that's a good news for Eckler. He should be in. I would recommend starting him. Like I said, with all these injuries on the defensive front, I think it's going to be a favorable game for Herbert and Eckler. I think they're going to throw the ball deep. They're going to get Eckler. Eckler has been very involved in the passing game these past couple of weeks. If you look at the numbers, since he's returned from his injury, receiving-wise, he had 85 yards, 32 yards, and 67 yards. So his passing game has been big. He's been a big contributor to the passing game. And as for Robert Woods, his questionable just popped up yesterday. Coach Sean McVay said Woods' thigh didn't take part in Wednesday's practice as a precautionary measure. Jordan Rodriguez of the Athletic Report. So precautionary measures shouldn't be too concerning, but obviously just check it every once in a while. Make sure that there are no new updates. Elliott is also questionable. Updating a previous report, the Cowboys officially listed Elliott calf as a non-participant on Wednesday's practice. John Machado of the Athletic Report. So he's not going to play in my lineup no matter what. But, if he's in your lineup for still, then I would recommend benching Elliott. But, if he's on your lineup, then that's the questionable. Coach Matt Rule said Moore will play in Saturday's game against the Packers. David Newman of ESPN.com reports. Look at the don't be concerned. It still says he's out, but Matt Rule said he'll play. So Fanny's got to update that. I don't know why they haven't done that yet. And then Ronald Jones. The Buccaneers added Jones' finger to reserve COVID-19 list Wednesday's Greg Allman of the Athletic Reports. So looks like he's not going to play. He obviously had the finger injury. So, looks like he will not be playing. Those are kind of your questionables. Like I said, I love Eckler against the Raiders. Some of the injuries, they've been involving him in the passing game. I think Herbert's going to have a lot more time. I like that matchup. Devontae Adams and Rodgers are my locks, to be honest with you. So, that's kind of just the deal there. So, now I move on to my other league. By the way, I go into this week as 36% chance to win. So, I guess hopefully I get the better under the 36% chance. So now we move on to win, obviously. So now we move on to my other league. This is my other league's team. Deshaun Watson, Kenyon Drake, James Robinson, Tyreek Hill, Keenan Allen, Devontae Adams, Robert Tonyan, A.J. Brown, Rams defense, and Darren Carlson. My bench is Mike Evans, Antonio Gibson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Raheem Mostert, David Johnson, and Cam Akers. My backup plan for James Robinson is Cam Akers, by the way. But here we go. So James Robinson this week. Robinson knee was a limited participant in Wednesday's practice. So like I said, just keep an eye out for that. Keenan Allen. Allen hamstring is considered a true game time decision for the Thursday night's game against the Raiders. Tom Pelissero of the NFL Network reports. So this might mean like a true game time decision, meaning like literally right when the game starts, he might be out or in. If he's out, my plan is to just put in Mike Evans because he's playing against Atlanta at the moment. I'm benching Evans. But if Allen's in, then I'm keeping Allen in. Questionable is A.J. Brown. Brown ankle was limited participant in practice Wednesday. Teron Davenport of ESPN.com reports. And my bench is Antonio Gibson. He's questionable. He shouldn't play. Gibson toe was listed as a non-participant in Wednesday's practice. Kyle Stockport of the Washington official site reports. I wouldn't really be too into Antonio Gibson. He's probably not going to play. Raheem Mostert. Coach Kyle Shanahan said Mostert ankle won't practice Wednesday. Nick Wagoner of ESPN.com reports. So that's the deal there for that one, for my one team. I could keep your eye on Keenan Allen. Like I said, he's a game time decision. So, When you're sitting there watching the game, keep an eye out for them. Look at the lineup every so often. They'll give you updates. And you need to have a backup plan. You can't just take them out and not have a backup plan. My backup plan would be Mike Evans. I like Mike Evans against Atlanta, and I benched him because of Devontae Adams. So that's the main reason. But yeah, so that's what I got for that league. So that's pretty much what I got for fantasy football. So now coming up next, we got Nolan Arenado rumors about going to the Mets. Coming up next. Alrighty, so this news came out yesterday, but I'm going to talk a little bit about it more today because yesterday I already had a podcast going on all my topics and I couldn't just randomly bring it up. But this news came out yesterday. Nolan Arenado trade rumors. Rockies want to engage with Mets in talks about third baseman. So Nolan Arenado is obviously third baseman, coming from the Colorado Rockies. I'll tell you what. If this is true about Nolan Arenado, the Mets are getting one heck of a player in Nolan Arenado. Okay? He is one of the best defending infielders, players in all the league. He's one of the best players in all the players just overall. He can hit, he can defend, he's smart, he's a veteran. He brings that veteran presence to a young Mets locker room. You got a couple young guys on that team, Pete Alonso, Ahmed Rosario. You got a couple young guys on that team. That team's pretty young. He brings veteran presence to that team. This deal would be unreal for the New York Mets if they could get him. And I know there's some people saying, oh, he can't solve all the Mets' problems. Well, of course. Baseball is a team sport. Baseball isn't a sport where one guy is going to change the team. You want to know why? Mike Trout might be the best baseball player in the entire league. He's the best. He's really the only guy in that Angels team. Did he do it by himself? No. Basketball is a sport where you can have one great player and be insane. LeBron James, right? Look at some of these, one great player. And as for baseball and football, you need a team effort. You really do, right? You could say one great player like a Brady could really lead a team, and then when he leaves, it could really hurt a team. But then you could say that you could counter that saying too, well, Brady's so good, then why is the Buccaneers not playing that good? So baseball takes a team sport. So saying that Nolan Arenado is going to solve everything, it's not. You know it's not. It's almost like saying if the Yankees re-sign LeMahieu, he's not going to solve all of our problems. Sure, he'll really help us. He ain't going to solve all of our problems. So people saying that Nolan Arenado isn't going to be the savior for the Mets and stuff, that's not true. He's going to be a very good player for the Mets. You can't have one guy in a baseball field carry a team. It shows. You need good pitching, you need good hitting, you need all around. Basketball, it's different. You can have one great shooter and you could make the playoffs. Baseball, you can't have one great hitter and that's it. You need multiple good hitters. Mike Trout on the Angels, a great hitter. They haven't made the playoffs because they don't have really anyone around him. Baseball is a team sport. So saying just because Nolan Arenado is going to go there, he can't be the savior for the team, he can't be the magic bullet or whatever, that's not true. He can add on, but he's not going to. You can't expect the guy to take it all by himself. Let's get into the Nolan Arenado talk. Nolan Arenado is a very good player. Very good. Like I said, he's been a Gold Glove in very times. He's won 8 straight Gold Glove awards. If I'm remembering correctly, 8 straight Gold Glove awards. Gold Glove it means that you're the best at your position defensively. So he's been the best third baseman, you could say, for the past 8 years at third base. 8 straight Gold Glove awards. That is unreal. You might not realize that. Put it into perspective. That 8 straight Gold Glove awards. That it's to be honest, it's hard to believe in a way. It's really hard to believe that he has 8 straight Gold Glove awards. The guy is only 29 years old. He joined the league in 2013. Each year of his career, he's had a Gold Glove award. Each year of his career. If you don't think that's crazy, just think. Since he's came into the league to right this moment, every year he's won a Gold Glove. That's how good of a defender he is. He's a 5-time All-Star. He's a 4-time Silver Slugger Award winner. Like I said, he's not only a good defender, he can hit. Right? He's a NL home run leader. He hit for the cycle. I remember that. NL home run leader, NL RBI leader, Gold Glove Award, Silver Slugger. All these awards for Nolan Arenado. If the Mets land him, and they already have James McCann, and let's just say maybe Trevor Bauer and George Springer, this team is going to be scary to look at. That starting lineup with McCann, with Arenado, with Springer, and with Bauer, that team would be scary. Plus, who you already have, Pete Alonso, DeGrom, see what Syndergaard can do. You got Marcus Stroman coming back. I'm telling you, if the Mets get Nolan Arenado, this would be a huge deal for the New York Mets. And I said this for Mets fans. For some of you who might not be happy with the James McCann deal because you wanted JT Realmuto, calm down. You're not going to spend all your money at the catcher position. If you can get an average to good catcher, a good defensive catcher, that's all you need. You don't need to spend all the money in the world for JT Realmuto, who didn't even want to play in New York. Right? That's another smart reason why they didn't get him. They're going to spend their money. Right? Just because all these big names are floating around doesn't mean. To say that the Rockies want to engage with the Mets means that they want to trade. They want to move. They want to make moves, and they want to get it done quickly. They have to get it done. If I was in the New York Mets right now, I would jump on this right now, right this second, and take him. 8-time Gold Glove, 5-time All-Star. He's won a Gold Glove award every single year of his career. And the Mets could actually use help at that position. Their last really solid third baseman that was a career guy for the New York Mets was probably David Wright. Nolan Arenado, still young, 29 years old. Sign him to a lengthy contract. Let Steve Cohen spend money. This would be an excellent deal for the New York Mets. I would give this deal maybe an A+, depending on what you got to give up. If you got to give up a lot to get Arenado, maybe it might be a B, but still, you're getting Arenado. And I'm surprised, to be honest, that the Rockies are trying to get rid of him. They just signed him. He's in a second year of an 8-year contract. They just signed him. He's got the 4th largest contract in all the MLB. So they just signed him. So they're trade him. That really means that they really want to move on. You know, to know that they want to, either he wants to move on or the Rockies want to move on. But he's been with the Rockies for a long time now. For him to come to the Mets, I think would be huge for not only him, but just for the Mets. I mean, this would be huge for the New York Mets. This would be an excellent, excellent, excellent deal for the Mets. He's going to spend money. Steve Cohen is going to spend money. Be patient, Mets fans. You got to be patient. So now we move on to this little article here. If the New York Mets want to make a splash in the trade market, the Colorado Rockies are reportedly ready and willing to speak with them about Nolan Arenado. Per MLB Network, John Morrissey, Danny Albarano of SNY TV, the Rockies want to engage with the Mets about the 5-time All-Star. Arenado's long-term future with the Rockies has been cloudy for some time. ESPN's Jeff Passan reported on January that the 29-year-old was unhappy with the team's inactivity in free agency after they finished 71 and 91 in 2019. There's a lot of disrespect from people there that I don't want to be a part of it, Arenado told MLB.com's Thomas Harding in a text message. You can't quote that. Arenado is entering the second year of an 8-year, $260 million extension he signed in February 2019. The deal includes an opt-out after the 2022 season. The Mets could be a potentially hot destination for players this offseason. New team owner Steve Cohen has made it clear he wants to spend money on this roster and hopes to win a World Series within 3 to 5 years. Per Kendall Rosenthal of The Athletic and Fox Sports, James McCann is closing in on a 4-year, $40 million deal with the Mets. A potential Arenado deal would cost New York a lot more than that in terms of money and prospects. He proved himself to be worth a significant cost, arguably the most complete third baseman in Major League Baseball. The California native has won 8 Gold Glove awards and has a 293 349, 541 / line in 1,079 career games with the Rockies. Like I said, this line says it all. He's proved himself to be worth significant cost and arguably the most complete third baseman in Major League Baseball. He can hit, he can field, he's smart, he's I know he's only 29 years old, but he's got that veteran presence. He's been in the league for 2013. He's been around things. He's now probably considered a veteran. He's almost 30. So if I was the New York Mets right now, I would be just slamming on this deal right now. Say, you know what? We'll give you this, this, and this. Give us Arenado. Because like I said, outside of David Wright, the Mets haven't had that third baseman in a long time. So that is what I got for Nolan Arenado to the Mets. Now I move on to some of the college basketball games on today. There's a couple of them. And some NBA preseason games. Let's see. Okay. So let's get to college basketball. So today we got 2 AP Top 25 games on. We got Crane and St. John's. I give Crane the win. And Kansas, Texas Tech. I give Kansas the win. And as for NBA preseason, we got a good amount of games on today. Oh, by the way, yesterday, UTEP won. They upset them. UTEP won. Duke won. Texas won. Villanova won. Purdue won. So those are your games there. Okay. So now for the NBA. So yesterday we had Lakers won, Nuggets won, Bulls won, Knicks won an insane comeback. They had a really big comeback. These are the games today. I give the Magic Hornets. I give Magic the win. Wizards, Pistons, Wizards the win. Grizzlies, Hawks. I give Grizzlies the win. Rockets, Spurs. I give Rockets the win. Timberwolves, Magic, Mavericks the win. Warriors, Kings. I give Warriors the win. Jazz, Clippers. I give Clippers the win. So those are your games on today. Those are some of your NBA preseason games, and then tomorrow the Nets play as well. So we got a packed sports weekend ahead of us. We got a lot of sports coming up. We got some conference games tomorrow in the NFL, college football. You got tonight's game. You got college basketball. You got NBA preseason. Then on Saturday you have 2 NFL games plus all the ACC championship game and all that stuff. On Sunday, you got all the NFL. Monday, you got NFL. Then Tuesday, NBA starts up. You got Kentucky also on Saturday. Like, you got games everywhere. Like, you got games everywhere. I mean, you have, 3 sports going this weekend. So, it's exciting. Good time for sports, I'll tell you that for sure. So, with all that being said, that will do it for today's podcast. I'll see you all back here tomorrow. It will be a Football Friday podcast, like always. Give you all my game picks and all that good stuff. So enjoy tonight's football game. I will see you all back here tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.